So I think most golfers, especially senior golfers, would say that they don't hit driver far enough from the tee. And they set up and they'll say that they're not very flexible, but they'll make a swing that's lovely and accurate. Don't miss many fairways. And we can see there 90 mile an hour club speed generated nearly 200 carry and 222 total. Now I know you're probably watching it and going, I don't hit it that far, but it's all relative to what you could be generating and the extra distance you could pick up. So one thing we would love to do is generate a bit more club head speed. And I do appreciate when golfers talk about not being flexible enough, there is a limit. But I do think a lot of golfers can unlock a bit more range of motion and unlock speed, but also we can be more efficient with the way we deliver the club. And if I bring those numbers back up there, we can see the low point was 2.3 inches ahead of the ball, and therefore the club has travelled down 2.6 degrees, and down on TrackMan for angle of attack is a minus number. So that initial swing was very much what I see with golfers who lack distance, that the feet are thoroughly planted on the floor, not really much lower body movement, therefore it's very restricted as to how far they can get the length of backswing, and even the follow through is quite restricted. But don't get me wrong, it's not awful. That one was in play, down the fairway, but the stats nowadays show if you can pick up 20, maybe 30 yards, maybe even more for some of you, it really does make a massive difference to your ability to score. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a little tweak at setup. So still want that ball position to be nicely forward in the stance, but instead of having that club head right up behind the golf ball, which tends to make the shoulders be very, very level, we're going to move that club head back maybe 3-4 inches behind, and we're going to try and feel that we get a little bit more spine tilt away by pushing the hips a bit more towards the target. So straight away there, even if I were to make the same kind of restricted lower body movement, we see the ball launch a little bit higher. Now, even though I've swung at the same club head speed there, my low point is then 3.6 inches behind. Club's travelled up 2 degrees and carries now just over 210 and total at 240. So we can see there almost that 20-yard pickup just from changing the address from there to there. Didn't do anything different speed-wise, just got the club travelling up through impact as opposed to down through impact. And we know from launch monitors like TrackMan that the ability to hit up on the golf ball launches the ball a bit higher with maybe less spin. So once we're starting to be efficient, and I'm maybe not expecting you to do it first go, but what we are looking for there is can we then make sure that we can create a longer backswing and maybe a longer, more free follow through. Now, what I would say is if you're going to anchor your feet to the ground, as you swing, the lower body's not going to move, and therefore your ability to separate upper and lower body, even for me, I can probably only get back there, and that feels very tight. So during the backswing, we want to focus on letting that front heel come up off the ground, and we can see there, if I go, that's my maximum range of motion, then I'll let the heel come up much longer, plant the heel down early, and then as you swing through, want to be up on that right toe and get the foot pushing back towards or away from the target. So if I did a practice swing with that, and you can hear the difference in the noise there. Okay, so we're going to go through that little setup of ball, club head back from the ball, bump the hips towards the target, and then we're going to really work on letting those heels come off the floor. Now, not the best strike, and that one turning over a little bit, but we saw a big jump in club head speed to 103 mile an hour. The club's travelled up 3.8 degrees and suddenly 240 carry and nearly 270 total. Now, certainly in practice, if I'm looking for more distance, I'm not too bothered where they're going to begin with, because I'm a big believer that you can always take a little bit out of what you're doing, but you want to see what your maximum is. Now, I'm not suggesting that your starting club head speed is 90 mile an hour and you're going to see the jump to 103. But if you're 70, you might see that jump to 80, 85 perhaps. But it's going to be massive with the pickup. So let's do that again. Set that club head back. Pop the hips slightly towards the target. I'm going to let that heel come off the ground. Really gets me much longer. And then get that heel down early. Okay, so again, felt a solid strike. We can see low point 3.8 inches behind. Club's travelled up 2 degrees. Even though that didn't feel quicker there, suddenly 105 mile an hour club speed, nearly 260 carry, and 280 total. Now, what I would say, before the very small minority of you comment, I'm taking a bit out of mine to begin with to really restrict myself, but that's what a lot of golfers do. I'm not saying they'll see that pickup, but if you can start generating a little bit more speed and be more efficient with your delivery, you can start picking up some big distances. It might not be nearly 60 yards like that is, but just because we get older and maybe a little less flexible doesn't mean that we can't drive the ball longer than we're currently doing by making some better movements and delivering the club better. So again, beauty there is that didn't even feel quick. But I would always say on the practice swings, let that go up, get the heel down, and then really feel like you're trying to swing the club quick. Change that intent, certainly in the practice swing, to get the nervous system used to being a bit quicker. And I don't mind in practice, even if this is offline, to stand up, get myself set, to see just what you can generate. So we can see there, low point 5.5 inches behind. I've hit up 3.4 degrees, 106 mile an hour club head speed, 260 carry and 274 total, and bullet straight. Now, I'm also, as a coach, not a believer that more speed means less control. It might mean that you're not practiced at speed, so you're not that comfortable with it. But don't worry about that in practice. See what you can do. And that, for me, there felt like I was kind of trying to swing the club a little quicker as well. But even if I felt to go and play that was too much, I could get out there, get myself set as we've discussed, still work on the length of swing, just not try to swing it quite as fast, and still be very, very accurate, which I was at the start. Still generate a little bit more club head speed, get the club travelling up, and all of a sudden the ball's carrying as far as it was rolling out, but then rolling out 260. So there's over 30 yards extra there, still maintaining all that accuracy to start with, setting up a little differently so that we can deliver the club travelling up rather than down, launching the ball high, spinning less and being more efficient with driver. And then if we can have that little bit more range of motion with the body because we're not restricting what we're doing, it's amazing the pickups you can make. And if you can swing the club faster, deliver the club more efficiently with all the control that you've had before, I think we all love longer and straighter tee shots. And like I said at the start, I guarantee if you can do that, it's going to lower your scores. And at the end of the day, it's just a lot more fun hitting that longer.